running up the score.
Jerry Napoleonello.
This team has been on the clock for 4 months now. Why are we taking this down to the 4-minute mark? You know, you have 10 minutes here. 10 minutes here, but you've had 4 months. The dude's got 1,021 text messages as he hasn't read yet. Did we not notice that?
Kevin Donlin.
Bryce Harper's a great player. He's very, very talented. Aside from last year, but I blame myself. I'm pretty sure I'm the reason for that with fantasy baseball.
That's disgusting.
Wow.
I can't believe that's real. I mean, again, I'm not. I shouldn't hate. I'm not going to be the kind of person that hates.
No,
He is doing enough hating for the both of us.
As a Cowboys fan, the expectations are so high, and it's just, you're dug into the ground by the end of the season.
You're basically like what the Patriots are, but you try to do it, but you just don't.
No.
Yeah. At least the Jets, you know what I mean? They have excuses.
This is Running Up the Score, your one-stop spot for all things sports. Now here's your hosts, Jerry Napoleonello and Kevin Donlin.
All right, we're back. Running Up the Score. We have, it's coming to the end of the season here in the NFL.
Yeah, the season's flying right by.
I mean, we have playoff scenarios that we'll get into a little bit later when we're going over the games. We had a game on Thursday, and I honestly, I don't know what to say anymore.
I do. You let me know when to start.
Well, I'm going to give how I feel.
This will be fun.
Where do I start? Wow. The whole team is underachieved. That's the most obvious opinion, I guess. It's really not even an opinion. It's a fact. They are an underachieving team. The Dallas Cowboys 6-7 now, which is crazy because they still lead the NFC East. That's beyond me, but whatever. They just every portion of the game of offense, defense, special teams is a disaster. I'm surprised that Keith O'Quinn still has his job. I'm surprised that Brett Maher still has his job. I mean, the guy's missed the most kicks for a kicker in God knows how long, if ever. I think he's missed 12 or 11 kicks this season.
You can move on from your kicker. Don't tell me that your kicker is the reason why you're 6-7. Keep moving on. I know you said the whole team. Continue.
Oh, I know.
I know you're saying the whole
the
team,
kicker has a lot
but
to do
you shouldn't
with
even be emphasizing the kicker.
Okay,
I saw an article where I heard that someone from the Dallas organization, I don't even know which one it was, talking about Maurer and had a whole big story to talk about your kicker. Now, kicker's very important, but you lost that game by what? What was the final score?
Well, it was 31-24.
31-24.
He did miss a kick in the game, which kind of changed the way.
Because it would have been 31-27 with that kick made.
Well, not even that. It would have been 31-24 after the late touchdown that they scored with 4 minutes left. So it would have changed the game a little bit because, yeah, obviously you're going for an onside kick there, and you're one touchdown away. At the point that they scored a touchdown with 4 minutes and 4.5 minutes or whatever it was, they were down by 10.
Oh, we're all talking about the fourth quarter right here. I mean,
well, yeah,
truth be told, you scored at the 8-minute mark, 9-minute mark of the first quarter.
7 points.
And you didn't score again until.
Well, which was crazy to me. They said during the game, which I'm going to keep continuing where the Cowboys are going wrong, but this is just a side note.
Well, we only have an hour.
Yeah, I know. During the game, they mentioned the first drive was 9 minutes. Fantastic drive. And for most of us Cowboy fans or people that cover the Dallas Cowboys said that was probably the best drive of the season. 9 minutes, scored a touchdown, no penalties. It was perfect. We ran the ball very well. Ezekiel Elliott was running through gaps that, which is ridiculous.
Oh, there's no doubt your team has talent.
So, in the third quarter, they made a comment. The Cowboys, since that 9-minute drive in the first quarter, have held the ball for 8 minutes. Since then, this was the middle of the third quarter at this point. Are you kidding me?
And 2 turnovers in that mix. Their defense forced 2 turnovers.
2 turnovers that
so
they
it has
never
nothing to do
get.
with it.
They never get.
They had no business, being
Losing.
down what they were down by going into the fourth quarter. I mean, the biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys right now, and you're going to hear it from an outside source. I mean, I know you're a fan, so you're going to see it more than anyone. But from an outside standpoint, there is almost no doubt this goes on your coaching. It's been on your coaching for a very, very long time. It's not the talent on the field. I mean, even before the show started, you're talking about Byron Jones. You want to get rid of him. Byron Jones is a premier talent. This guy that you had covering in the middle, Jalen Smith, the guy was an animal.
Yep.
He's a beast. And then DeMarcus Lawrence speaks for himself as well. Your defense has all the talent in the world it needs. It has someone on each aspect. You have a defensive back that's pretty dominant. You have a linebacker that's pretty dominant. And you have an end that's very dominant. Now, I don't think this fell on your defense despite the fact of them giving up 31 points. How about they were on the field you said Dallas had the ball for 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So their defense was on the field for the rest of that time.
Absolutely.
That's a very long time to be on the field. You get tired. We're all human beings. What happens is, I saw it with the New York Jets even earlier in the season. Your defense is on the field for that long. I don't care who you are. I don't care how talented you are. You can't play like that. You can't play to your 110% when you're on the field for that many plays. No. And that falls on the Dallas offense. The guy that wants to get paid $30 million a year. Now, granted, I know he got hurt in that game. I heard he hurt his wrist. I heard he hurt a finger.
There's no excuse because he was still throwing the ball like crap before that.
It's just an aspect of, the play calling. I mean, your offense has got Ezekiel Elliott. You have 3 of the most dominant offensive linemen I've ever seen at once. Most teams have like 1 or 2. You have 3 of them. They're all very, very good. And you're supposed to use that offensive line to be moving the chains, using the running game. You have one of the best backs in football. Now, we've always talked about this debate about Ezekiel Elliott. Is he the best running back in football? Or, Barkley or all these other guys that are out there. Ezekiel Elliott has broken the first tackle so many times. On top of the fact of having a dominant offensive line. So when you're Jason Garrett and you're in your, war room or whatever they like to call it, when you're preparing for a football game, you would think he would emphasize this. And I think for every Cowboy fan, it just comes down to this. He was the backup, right, for Troy Aikman for years. Jerry Jones is well aware of this and has known him for a very long time. They're very good friends. There's no doubt about it. It's probably been beautiful having one of your great friends out there and you're able to discuss what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Because for Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys are life. Like his life revolves fully around the Dallas Cowboys, the success of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what?
Has everything to do with it. So having your friend in there to be able to, to talk about this at all times, the problem is that it's not being done on the field correctly.
To be honest with you, you said that he lives by the success of the Dallas Cowboys.
He does.
I'm starting to believe that's not true. And here's the reason why. You've had a mediocre head coach. Yeah, you might say he's friends with him, whatever. You've had him for 10 years. Okay?
He's known him for a lot longer than that.
But we're talking about, out of those 10 years, I think maybe at least 5, maybe 6, they've gone 8-8. Now, this is the talent that Jason Garrett has been able to coach in his 10 years with the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo, DeMarcus Ware. Right now you got Ezekiel Elliott, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick. I mean, you're looking at guys.
Tyron Smith, who has been the best left tackle in football for the last 10 years.
Des Bryant, Terrell Owens, all of these guys. And you weren't able to even get past. Well, finally we got past the first round, but we can't get past that second round. What is the craziest thing to me, though? And this is the reason why I feel like it really doesn't matter to him. Because the Cowboys brand is so successful no matter how crappy their team is.
Yeah, but if you look at the interviews that have been going on, don't you have an interview from?
I do. I wanted to play it.
I would love for you to play it, actually, because I'd love to see him. You tell me where you don't think he doesn't want to win. He definitely wants to win in this league. He's probably sick and tired of the questions, the constant, beratement of the Dallas Cowboys. And, at some point someone breaks. And clearly what I was able to hear coming out of his mouth, I mean, you just start to see a level of, okay, this is, these questions are becoming way too consistent and way too almost, demeaning of the Dallas Cowboys. And you talk about the market and everything else, but the truth be told, like you said, they've had an amazing amount of talent, yet they weren't able to do anything with it.
Well,
and Tony Romo, everybody in America watches Tony Romo and prays to God at one point he becomes the next John Madden on Monday Night Football because he's that knowledgeable, he's that smart, he knows how to read defenses. Clearly, we see him do it from the booth. He was doing it for years in the NFL.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him on Sunday Night Football.
I would love him on Monday Night Football because, I'm sorry, this whole Booger McFarland thing has got to go.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it like ESPN and like the NFL looks at
least
Sunday
get me
Night
out there. I mean, God,
Sunday Night Football as their biggest game. Hence why whenever there's a big game, they flex it to whatever. So it's always a Sunday Night Football game. So I would not be surprised for NBC to really break the bank on trying to get Romo over to NBC and Sunday Night Football, especially with what's his name, Al Michaels, basically, hopefully retiring soon.
Well, why? Al Michaels, come on, the guy is a legend.
Legend that sounds like he's falling asleep while he's.
Well, now I mean, but for
game.
Years he was one
absolutely.
of the best.
Listen,
in every sport too. He didn't just limit
like,
at football.
I know his legend. I know his legacy. I know all of that. But now it's like, it just sounds like he's dead while he's. Broadcasting.
Yeah, probably because he's broadcasting a lot of Dallas Cowboy games. And probably New York Jet games too. I'll give it credit where it's due because the New York Jets just lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. But honestly, when we go back to this Thursday night game with the Dallas Cowboys, and honestly, what it came down to was, Mitch Trubisky had the best game of his career almost, and that's embarrassing.
That's the bad thing. But this is the interview with Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan in Texas. And they just really got under his skin, I guess.
Of course.
Jerry, how you doing this morning?
Hey, guys. Morning.
Morning to you. All right, Jerry, you come on every week, win or lose. You answer questions. You know the Tolos and the Cowboys fans want answers today. What answer do you have for how this team is playing right now?
We're not playing very well.
Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed as an organization about how the team is playing?
Get your damn act together yourself. Okay? Now, we're going to have a good visit this morning, but settle down just a little bit.
I mean, as a Cowboys fan, Jerry.
We've got a lot to go over. Now, going with your question, but I'm going to give you the answers I want to give you this morning, and I don't like your attitude to come in. I've been traveling all night, and I don't have the patience to jack with you today.
I understand that, Jerry. I'm just saying, like, emotionally.
Let's get with it and let's ask some questions.
All right.
Right kind of questions.
Is there any part of you that gets tired of hearing the questions about Garrett's job security, and do you understand why those questions keep coming up?
Of course I understand why they come up. Our fans are interested in they're frustrated that we're not playing better, and I understand that, and I know that goes with the territory. And so I fully expect to have those questions, and I know that if you really think about it, if I did have answers as to different directions regarding talent, if I did, I would not share them right now because, first of all, if you've got other team's talent in mind, that's tampering. Even if you had them something in mind, unless they're not involved in the National Football League right now, and it wouldn't be smart if they were involved other places.
So,
Jamal Adams.
obviously, you can.
What
see
was that last statement he just said right before that?
I didn't understand.
I think that said Jamal Adams all over it because that's becoming a big thing right now.
Yeah. But-
People were talking about the Dallas Cowboys tampering with Jamal Adams.
Absolutely.
Please,
the
Jamal
thing-
Adams isn't going to bring you a championship. You clearly can have all the talent in the world, and you have not won. That is a big concern for Jerry Jones.
That's the thing. Like,
You can add Jamal Adams. Do you really think it's going to get you over the top? It will not do it.
see, my problem with Jason Garrett, and always has been with Jason Garrett. First of all, he's a player's coach, so a lot of the players like Jason Garrett. So that, kind of adds to basically Jerry Jones not really feeling the fire to fire him, basically.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, honestly, most Dallas Cowboys fans don't even feel the fire anymore either. They're probably used to the fire. They're probably used to the burn marks on their arms because it's been going on for such a long time. Like you said, you talked about all the talent that this man has had, and Dallas is not even coming close.
You know what with him is, my problem with him is he doesn't know how to make adjustments. And that is the biggest thing when it comes to the NFL. And we could see it the last 2 weeks against Buffalo on Thanksgiving and against the Bears on just this past Thursday. They go down the first drive. They go down, have a nice long drive. They run the ball. They
and then
pass it
Chicago got
Then
the
they
ball.
then they scored a touchdown.
Yes.
And then after that,
They threw a pick. So where was the momentum not going on Dallas'
That's
side?
what I'm saying.
There's no adjustments that
there's
really even
no-
needed to be made there.
and but then
But they still
the
changed
the Bears adjusted to what happened on that first drive, and nothing.
Dak Prescott
came.
threw it twice out of the goal line on that drive.
I know.
Both incomplete.
I know.
That's not on the Chicago Bears and their adjustments. That's on
But,
Jason Garrett.
that's
Stick with Ezekiel Elliott.
That's what I'm saying. He goes away from what's working, or he just it just to me it doesn't make sense. A lot of the things that he does, he puts way too much confidence in Brett Maher right now. There's no reason why. To be totally honest with you, from what we saw on Thanksgiving, there was no way in hell Brett Maher was kicking a field goal at all in that game. I'm going for it. Look at what the Ravens are doing. The Ravens have the best kicker in the league, and they're still going for fourth downs. Then, after Thanksgiving...
It's called a confidence level.
That's what I'm saying. After Thanksgiving, they were talking about how... the Ravens use analytics.
So Dallas has played on
and stuff.
back-to-back Thursday nights?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
Yeah. So they were talking about the Ravens using analytics, when to go for it on fourth down, when not to.
No,
blah,
it's
blah,
more
blah.
like I have Lamar Jackson, and our
Well, that
running
too.
game was dominating in that game, so why wouldn't I go for it on 4th down and 2 when I know this defense is standing in front of me can't stop us?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, every single time. First of all, you have, as a lot of people say, Ezekiel Elliott is the best running back in the league. You have the best line in the league. Run the ball. I mean, 4th and 1s, we should be running the ball. 4th and 2s,
How about
we
this? You
should
got
be
these
running the
other
ball.
teams. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like,
And
this
the
is-
other thing is Jason Witten. Jason Witten should have stayed retired. He should have stayed
Well,
retired.
who are you putting in there? Jarwin?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he could block anybody.
That's the problem with Blake Jarwin right now, but Blake Jarwin is a 10 times better receiver than Jason Witten is right now.
But right now, I don't think the receiving has been a problem. I mean, you guys have Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. And Michael Gallup, folks, if you don't know who he is a very, very talented second wide receiver and probably one of the biggest sleepers going into fantasy football next year. You're welcome, because he is. He's one of the best.
I thought
With
he
Amari
had,
Cooper out the door, it's going to be Michael Gallup's show in Dallas.
Well, Amari Cooper's going to be signed. That's going to happen.
See, I don't know if that's even the smart move for the Dallas Cowboys to trade a first-round draft pick to get Amari Cooper.
I think it was the smartest thing that they've done.
Yeah,
in a-
but
in
you
a
know
while.
what? You got someone like Michael Gallup now, and it makes you wonder.
Yeah,
and
but-
you could go sign someone like Randall Cobb, who is a capable number
You know
two,
what?
and you don't need too much talent on the offensive side. You just don't need it.
You know what?
The money isn't there to afford all that.
Randall Cobb has underachieved with the Dallas Cowboys. I can say that. Michael Gallup has underachieved this year. I thought this year he was going to have a monster year, to be totally honest with you. Especially after he kind of
Well, that falls on Dak Prescott.
that's what I'm saying. Amari Cooper.
Now, what do you do when this guy gets paid $30 million. How do you develop a team to win? I'm sorry, but I'm going to take a scenario with you guys right now. If I'm Jerry Jones, okay, you could be
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott for me. It would simply go like this. I'm like, Dak, take a seat. Take a seat, Dak. You do understand we're 6-7. You do understand that.
Put a little country twang.
I can't even bother. If I start throwing my country accent into it, the way he was just reacting on that interview, I'd just be embarrassing myself right now. But I'd be like, Dak, take a seat. See, we're 6-7. We have a lot of talent. I mean, you know this, right? Like, we have a lot of talent on this team, and we're 6-7. You can go to another team and make $30 million a year, but you're in for a rude awakening, because when you're getting paid $30 million, those guys in front of you on that offensive line, they're not getting paid a lot of money because it's impossible. There's a salary cap here.
There's Dallas Cowboys, their offensive line, every single one of them is paid.
I know.
Very well.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You add $30 million to Dak Prescott, there's no more money to bring any other talent onto this team. And clearly, with two turnovers the other day, 2 sacks, so the defense didn't even play that bad. And they still gave up 31 points to Mitch Trubisky. Trust me, start a Dallas defense in fantasy football playoffs. I know how brutal that was.
My problem with the Cowboys defense is, I mean, basically the word of the day for the Dallas Cowboys is underachieve. I mean, you had Leighton Vander Esch, who, although being injured, hasn't played well this year. Jalen Smith is a shell of what he was last year. Byron Jones has been on and off. Obviously, everybody brings up the pro football, stats. That it doesn't mean crap. Watch the game and you'll see.
I thought he had great coverage, even on Allen Robinson's first touchdown. Did you see the coverage on that?
But did you see how he played that? Like he looked one way. Like that's one thing that he just can't get his head around. I don't understand. But that's not here nor there.
Also, not to mention. There was a whole thing with that game, and this is one thing I actually want to talk about, because we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys for an extended period of time right now. But the one thing I want to actually get
cringe.
No, I don't mind at all. It was the Thursday night game, understandable. But one thing I saw in that game was another problem that the NFL's having, and this is a big problem in the NFL. And the problem is that I just said problem like 5 times ago, because it is it's a massive issue that the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, just the NFL in general has. When it comes to pass interference in the NFL, now I watched Jalen Smith make some really, really nice plays in the end zone at the end of that game on the Chicago Bears,
and then still gave up a touchdown.
Not even just that, you exclude that.
Yeah.
He didn't turn around once.
No.
But they were great plays on the ball. So let me tell you, they didn't call the flag there.
Yeah.
But the NFL and their referees have every right there to throw a flag on him. So this is the one concern that the NFL has. Now, if I'm a Chicago Bear fan and we lose that game, I'd be very upset that they didn't call the flag on Jalen Smith, because he did not turn around once on the 2 plays he made in the end zone. They were great plays. That's where it gets it's almost a little bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
Because I watched him make 2 great plays. I'm like, wow, those are great plays, but they should be flagged. And I was talking. I was with a couple of friends, and they're wondering, why is he flagged? I'm like, well, he never turned around. That is a big issue in the NFL. They want you to turn around and make a play on the ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, not necessarily do you need to turn around to make a play on the ball. And let's be honest, the NFL and its offensive, friendly mindset, which it's been the last couple of years with the Tom Brady throwing shows and the Peyton Manning throwing shows and the Drew Brees throwing shows. Even Matt Ryan has gotten in on the action. And these quarterbacks, what?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah, of course. But even Tony Romo back in the day when it's become such a pass-friendly league. And the problem is that in the NFL, and in football in general, going all the way back to the Pee-wees, throwing the football is always a risk. Yeah. There's a huge risk in throwing the football. Now, I see it day in and day out when I watch the NFL, when I even watch college. You got quarterbacks that are just trying to get that throw off very late, and they take a hit. They throw the flag. Now, again, it's another gray area, because you're going to watch it even on Monday night when you watch the New York Giants take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is just my example right now. Eli Manning is coming back in. You saw the shots that Daniel Jones has been taking all season long. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's because Daniel Jones takes that chance.
Yeah.
The pressure's coming, but I'm still going to try to get that ball downfield and make a play. Eli Manning was just giving up on plays because he didn't want to take a hit like that.
Well, that I mean, Romo was like that a lot, especially in the beginning.
But now in this new league, now I would never
Take the
even
chance.
take the hit because most likely a flag's going to come out after because it has almost been impossible to not call a flag on these hits on the quarterback.
Yeah.
To me, a quarterback gets hurt on a hit when they tried to make that throw. Like I see Lamar Jackson making these throws, he's taking some hits. All right, man, like that's part of the game, and you want to take that chance, you're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
And there should be no repercussions from it. And the biggest problem in the NFL right now is that
they're making the repercussions.
They're allowing quarterbacks to take those chances, and now a quarterback can get hurt, or a quarterback can just take a big hit in general, and obviously that makes a big impact on a player. Like I don't care who you are, you're a human being. You take a big hit, flag or no flag, it makes an impact on the next time you decide to make that decision on whether to throw it or not.
Yeah, I mean, like on the Jalen Smith plays, like everybody, like we're all so accustomed to seeing a flag being thrown on a play like that, where you see the back of the helmet of the defender, it's almost a guarantee that you're gonna see a penalty. So like I understand where you're coming from, like. We're so accustomed to seeing that
it's just
happen.
another inconsistency
absolutely.
in the NFL. And the biggest problem is if I'm, again, like I just said, like if the Bears would have lost that game, if I'm a Bear fan, I'd have every right in the world to be very upset at the way Jalen Smith was playing those routes at the end of the game, even though in my personal opinion, I believe those were great plays. They played the ball he played the ball really, really well. And I have no objection to what he did. And they didn't call a flag, rightfully so. Yeah. Problem is that the NFL can pick and choose
when they want to throw
when they're going to want to throw the flag on that. Yeah. Most likely it'll be against the New York Jets. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, and that's the problem.
You did say the biggest inconsistency was this. In my eyes, the biggest inconsistency is the Dallas Cowboys. But we're going to move on. It's time.
Finally. No. The Cowboys. Oh.
Running up the score, picks and predictions for Week 14.
All right, Week 14 started on Thursday. Obviously, the Cowboys lose to the Chicago Bears 24-31 to make them 6-7, still in the lead in the NFC East. We'll go with the first game. Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. We got the Carolina Panthers plus 3.5. The over-under 47.5. Who are you going with?
I'm going to take Atlanta on this one. I think they're getting a couple people back that they didn't have last week, and I think it made a big impact on Atlanta's performance last week. And honestly, this is a tough one because Carolina, they look like they could be. They have great games, and they just have games where they just absolutely flop. They've been they're just such an inconsistent team that it's really hard to predict it. But again, I'm just going to go with Atlanta because I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. Carolina loses to Washington last week, which is a head scratcher. And it's exactly what you were just talking about.
I guarantee you they make this a game with the Atlanta Falcons on the road.
They probably will. They just found out that Cam Newton will not come back, which we kind of had an inkling that was going to happen, but he'll have, I think it's ankle or knee surgery, whatever it is. I do like Atlanta in this game. And I'll even... I guess I'll go money line Atlanta. Minus 190. So the next game we got Baltimore Ravens, best team in the NFL, against the Buffalo Bills. We got the spread in this game. Now, mind you, Buffalo Bills are what, 9-3?
And they're at home.
And they're home. And they're 6.5 dogs. Home dogs.
That's just Baltimore being, how dominant they've been. They've been able to run the football real well, and I hate the nonsense they were talking about with like the Jets and all these teams are good against the run. That's because they're passing it all over the place. They're giving up passing all over. But when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, their defense has been great and consistent. There's no doubt about it. This will be a lot closer game than a lot of people think, but I'm still going to go with the Ravens. I just feel like, right now Lamar Jackson's unstoppable. Barring that Lamar Jackson gets hurt in this game, which I'm praying for fantasy football now. But there's no doubt about it. There's no stopping the Baltimore Ravens right now. Their offense is just too consistent and too great to really go against them.
Well, this is our first playoff scenario type of game. Baltimore clinches the AFC North division title with a win and a Pittsburgh loss or a tie, or a Baltimore tie and a Pittsburgh loss. Baltimore clinches a playoff berth with a win.
Even the dogs really like Baltimore. You see this?
Or Baltimore tie and a Houston loss, or Baltimore tie and a Tennessee loss, or Houston loss, Indianapolis loss, and an Oakland and Tennessee tie. And then we got Buffalo Bills. Basically,
I lost you.
Basically, the Ravens are going to clinch.
Yes, basically.
Buffalo Bills clinches a playoff berth with a Buffalo win, Oakland loss or a tie, Houston loss, or an Indianapolis loss or a tie. All of that has to happen for that to happen. I do like Baltimore in this game just because of how dominant they are. Obviously Buffalo is going to be cold, but Baltimore is pretty cold too. And
when you're running the football,
and you're running
the
cold
football
as
means
well
nothing.
So Baltimore Ravens, I'll take with the points. The over/under is 44. I think this game is going to go a little over that.
I have no idea. Under-overs in football is the most random thing ever. I would never. I'm just going to tell the public, don't ever bet those. That's pretty much the dumbest thing you could ever do. I've seen the craziest things happen on under-overs in football games. I've seen teams drive the ball all day, but then they turn it over in the red zone all day, and you're like sitting there with an over, and you're like, what? There's no points, so what's going on?
So we got the next game, Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cincinnati's +7 in this one, +265, and Cleveland's -133. The over/under is 41.5. Who do you like?
I'll be honest, I think both defenses aren't anything intimidating whatsoever. I think both teams should have no problem moving the football this week. And I'm going to give the edge to the Cleveland Browns on the basis that I just think Cincinnati's defense is really that bad. And even Cleveland without Jason Garrett, without Myles Garrett, I think, again, it puts them back to like a more of a realistic defense as opposed to a dominant defense. And, I'm still going to give the edge to the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a close one, though. It's not really a game I'd really want to touch.
I think I'm going to go Cincinnati with the points.
What are they getting?
+7.
Yeah, that's enough. I would take that, too.
So, next game, Washington Redskins at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers are favored by 13.5.
Makes sense. Green Bay walks right over Washington. I think Washington's defense is just, abysmal. They're really just an awful team. Dwayne Haskins doesn't scare me. Green Bay's defense is no slouch. They were probably one of the best waiver pickups in fantasy football playoffs this week. No doubt, Green Bay.
I'm going to go Washington with the points.
Ew.
I think Washington's got a little bit of momentum. And it's 13.5.
Yeah, no, I understand. Again, no, I don't understand, actually. I don't even know why I said that to you. There's no doubt Green Bay wins that game and covers.
Listen, I think they win the game. I don't know if they're going to win by 13.
Yeah, those spreads are always crazy.
So, next game up, Denver Broncos at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are favored by 8.5. Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Denver. I thought they looked pretty good last week, despite the fact that they didn't had no Von Miller in that game, and their defense, they still had defensive guys that were still making plays in that game. To go along with the fact that I think Drew Lock played a very consistent game, it seems that Cortland Sutton is becoming a higher, the hype is getting there for him, and he's turning into a very, just a stud of a wide receiver. So I'm going to go with the Browns with the points. I think Houston is a very inconsistent team, and you never know what you're going to get out of them.
I'm going Houston too.
I said.
Minus
I like Denver.
8.5.
Yeah, I like Denver.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I wanted to go Denver.
Yeah,
You're like, I like Houston too. I'm like, well, who's two?
Well, I like Houston 1. How about that?
Yeah, all right, that works.
Minus 8.5. I'll take them with the points. Next game up, Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings, plus 12.5 in this one for the Detroit Lions.
Right. This is a tough one. I mean, the points obviously is a lot. I'm going to go Minnesota. Again, I'm on the Minnesota train at this point. I think Kirk Cousins is playing better football than I've seen in a while from him. I know he had a setback game the other day, but that was against a very good defense. Detroit's defense is far from that, and Minnesota's defense is clearly better, and I think their offense is clearly better, so it should be Minnesota all the way.
Is Matt Stafford back yet?
Nope.
I don't think so, right? So
I don't even think it makes a difference at that point. I still think Minnesota's offense is better than theirs, even with Matt Stafford on the center. They have no running back. They have nothing to go with.
Yeah, but it just, to me, Minnesota still has Kirk Cousins.
I understand.
But I'm going to go with Minnesota plus minus 12.5. Next game, I think it's going to be a really, really good one. San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are favored by 2.
Yeah, this is a tough game. It's almost like a toss-up. I'm just going to go with the Saints on this one on the basis that they're home. I feel like both defenses are very good. Both offenses are pretty good. I think I would probably give the Saints the slight advantage on the offense and San Fran the slight advantage on defense. But again, I'm going to probably lean on not San Fran. I'm sorry, on New Orleans based on the fact that they're home.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I don't think San Francisco is as good as everybody thinks they are.
I just think their offense is not as hyped up as everyone is expecting it to be.
San Francisco will clinch a playoff berth with a win and a
Might have to wait one more
loss, or
if someone ties,
a tie
okay,
and a Rams loss.
All right, so there's a tie, guys.
Either way, the Rams have
saying?
to lose to the Seattle Seahawks, which can happen. Okay,
of course.
it can happen because, the last place Seattle Seahawks that you said in the beginning of the season, they're basically in first place.
I know, it's been unbelievable. They've had such an easy schedule. It's incredible. It really is. They've had a very easy schedule. Russell Wilson's been very good. There's no doubt their defense. Adding Jadeveon Clowney was a big difference. Back when I said my prediction, they had no Jadeveon Clowney. They had no pass rush, and
I think we missed it by like 2 days too.
I know, and their defense is still very, very vulnerable. I don't think they could stop anybody in the NFL. And come playoff time, you'll see they'll be out so quick you won't even know with a blink of an eye.
Next game, Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Jets are favored by 5. Who are you going with?
Jets are favored by 5. Yeah. Miami all the way. I have Ryan Fitzpatrick starting in every fantasy football league of mine, so I'm all in on Ryan Fitzpatrick having a very, very good game in this one. I think Sam Darnold, he kind of messed up his ankle the other day.
This is the reason why I can't play fantasy football.
I don't blame you.
Because I can't bet. I can't root against my team.
Yeah, you can. When your team just got crushed by the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, you can, because you don't care if you win anymore. You see, I understand Dallas has had so much talent in the longest time, so it's hard not to root for them because they're expected to do great. But when you see this kind of aspect,
well, I mean, if you listen to our intro, and I say it's so hard being a Cowboys fan because they have so much expectations, and they beat you down to the ground.
Well, the Jets just don't have any expectations. Then they kind of hype you up a little bit, and then it goes right back down.
They had big expectations this year.
For the Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, you thought that the defense with
I thought that they would give New England a run for their money for the division lead.
Oh yeah, me too. Up until the point where our entire team got hurt.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's just injuries.
Quarterback get mono.
You lose your starting quarterback for the first 3 weeks. That schedule was so tough. He came back to beat Dallas, but everyone's beating Dallas. You got something to say? That's what I thought. All right, you're 6-7 with a loss to the New York Jets. That's a big problem. Because the Jets, at this point, there's really no expectation. So as a Jet fan, you really just want to lose. You don't want to win this game at all. You want Miami to add another win, move ahead of them on the draft board. Yeah,
it was funny. A guy at work, he made a bet with his friend that the Jets would have a better record at the end of the season than the Giants.
It's going to be a photo finish.
It's going to be a close one.
It's going to be a photo finish. I actually made a bet like that, too. And after we lost to I think after we lost to New England and all the ghosts coming out or whatever happened with Sam Darnold, I kind of, he offered to me to back out, and I actually agreed, and I'd probably be winning right now because of how bad the New York Giants became. But and Eli going under center isn't going to help.
So you're going with Miami?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami.
I'll take Miami as well. +5. Next game,
And the over,
Indianapolis.
hopefully.
The over is
Hopefully.
46.
Well, if it goes over, folks, then you're looking at the next round of the playoffs for me.
Indianapolis Colts at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3. Indianapolis Colts, which is crazy to me. I'm going Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts. I
Not
think their
even
defense
close.
is better. I think a lot of times you just look at the offensive numbers and you think that because Tampa Bay is at home, again, it's a dome game. Brissett looked very vulnerable last week. I don't think he
Tampa
looked
Bay's
as dominant as he should be. But Tampa Bay's giving up points to everybody on the passing game, and I think Brissett is able to find a way to move the ball in that one.
Tampa Bay's home.
I know. It's a dome
It's a
game.
dome game.
Isn't Tampa Bay? Oh, I'm sorry.
Indianapolis is dumb.
No, I understand. No, I actually, honestly, truthfully thought that. But again, whatever. Dome game, Tampa Bay, Florida, it's the same thing. It's beautiful weather. You don't have to worry about weather being a concern. Watch, it'll probably rain.
Yeah, I know, right? Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chargers are favored by 3.
I like the Chargers in this one.
I like the Chargers as well.
Chargers are a good team. They're like the Cowboys. I don't even get it. Talent, beyond belief, and they just can't do anything with it.
But it is.
You're welcome for throwing that in
It
there.
is the Minshew show. He's back in. Foles was benched.
All right, yeah, start him in fantasy. I mean, I don't even know what you looking at me like that saying that. I'm just like, I'm almost looking at you in almost in absolute shock. Like, I'm sorry, am I supposed to think anything when you say Minshew Mania? Or back it up, start him in fantasy against
Next
me.
game, Steelers at the Cardinals. -3 for Steelers.
This game sucks. I'm probably gonna go
Yeah,
Arizona
I
for the upset. I mean, I just Pittsburgh. I don't know. They've been pretty good. Their defense is very good, Pittsburgh. So you know what? I'm saying Arizona, but no, I'm probably gonna quickly switch over to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I'm always a big fan of taking the better defense, and T.J. Watt has been absolutely dominant this year. Probably one of the most underrated players in the NFL.
Drives me crazy.
He's incredible.
Drives me crazy because the Cowboys should have drafted him. Instead, they drafted Taco Charlton. Let's take Taco Charlton, who's not even on the team anymore, over T.J. Watt. Smart move. That was like one of the dumbest moves that I've seen in a very long time for the Cowboys during the draft, because they've been drafting very, very well lately, and that was just a dumb move.
I don't even want to get into the Jets draft. Let's go to the next game.
Rob Marinelli is the reason for that, which is crazy to me. But next up, Kansas City Chiefs at the New England Patriots. Patriots are favored by 3.
This is going to be a tough
going
one. It's
Chiefs.
going to be such a fun game to watch. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think,
Chiefs.
again,
New England's not playing the way that they usually play.
because they don't need to. Their defense has been very dominant, so their offense really is. There isn't a demand for their offense to score points. I usually like to take the defense in these games, and the fact that New England's at home, this game screams New England all over me. But I don't know about you folks, but I'm never going to go up and just sit there and be like, hey, I'm gonna bet against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's not really the smartest move.
Yeah, but
it's
not
almost
the
a game that you
smartest
want
move
to.
say, oh, I'm going to bet up against Tom Brady.
I wouldn't. Yeah, but see, I'm not gonna. I'm not even gonna get into that at all. Like again, that's a game that you really like. We talked about before. There was another. It was another game you don't want to touch. But if I were to pick someone, maybe the Chiefs. Again, I don't know.
So Chiefs clinch the AFC West division title with a win and a Oakland loss. That's all they need.
That's not much.
The Patriots clinch a playoff berth
Already
with a win.
Oh, they didn't clinch already?
No.
Oh,
They
because
just-
Buffalo's been good. Yeah.
They're gonna clinch with for the playoff berth with a win. That's all they need. Or
Buffalo
a tie
loss.
and a Pittsburgh loss, a tie and a Houston loss, a New England tie and a Tennessee loss, or the big one, Houston loss, Indianapolis loss, or an Oakland and Tennessee tie.
Okay.
So
Got it.
just win, and
Win the game,
you're in.
There you go. Or win any of the next
yeah,
3 weeks.
Well, yeah. Tennessee Titans at the Oakland Raiders.
Are you looking for me to answer or?
No, I just wanted that to play.
Oh, word.
The music stopped in the background.
That was all good. I'm gonna show a dramatic approach. I
Yeah,
liked it.
I guess. Tennessee Titans at the Oakland Raiders. Tennessee is favored by 3, and I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tennessee too. Oakland is at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
But they're very, very.
I'm not a fan of taking.
inconsistent team.
I'm actually usually a fan of home dogs. It's for some crazy reason it hits a lot, and it sounds nuts because Tennessee's been playing better football. I'm probably gonna go with Tennessee on this one on the basis that Ryan Tannehill has been a lot better for them. Their O line for Tennessee is probably one of the best, but so is the Raiders O line. So don't be fooled. This could be a high scoring game. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans, but this is not going to be as close as you look. I'd probably go with the money line and forget the 3 points on that one.
We got the Sunday night game. It's a pick'em. Seattle Seahawks at the Los Angeles Rams.
It's just only because the Rams are at home is this a pick'em. The Rams, again, a better defense. I think both offenses. I think Seattle's offense has the trump on that one, but they're going up against a much tougher task, against a tougher defense. It's going to be a lot harder for them to move the football. Seattle, if they get the top-notch play out of Jadeveon Clowney, which they've been getting, this game is in the bag for them. Just because of how much the Rams have been struggling. But, again, I'm not a big fan of taking, home dogs. And clearly I think that spread's going to go in the Seattle favor by the time we hit kickoff. I'm going to go with a flyer here. I'm going to go with the Rams.
I'm trying to think because I'm going to the game next week. I'm going to Dallas. And I'm going to see the Los Angeles Rams play the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's World. And the Cowboys are coming.
Can I just stop there and just? Can I agree? Can we all agree that that's corny? That they call it Jerry's World. Sorry, it's corny.
I'm trying to think because the Cowboys are running on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad.
I'm trying to think. Would I rather the Rams come in on a win and kind of feel their oats there, and then the Cowboys just slam them down, or do I want them to lose?
It'll be a good game. That's actually a really good matchup next week for fantasy purposes in a dome. Psych. I would not want to be anybody owning Dak Prescott. I had seen this in the beginning of the year. Dak Prescott was doing great in the beginning of the season, but I knew the matchups that were coming up during his playoff weeks. And again, I wasn't a fan of any Dallas Cowboy, including Elliott, on any of these playoff matchups.
So I'm gonna go with Seattle on this. Just because I feel like Seattle's going to win this game.
Well, they've been a good team, man. There's no doubt about it. They've been great. I think the addition of Jadeveon Clowney. Russell Wilson is arguably the MVP of the National Football League. He's been incredible with the talent that he's had with him. He's not even using locking. He's finding ways to put up 30 points. So it's quite crazy how good they've been.
And then the Monday night game, the best game of the week, the New York Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, Eli's back.
What's the spread?
Eli's back.
What's the spread?
Hopefully he's going on a revenge tour.
What is the spread?
9.5.
I'm going with the Giants. I think Eli Manning gets this win.
I hope so. I'm going Giants.
I don't think the Giants are going to it'd be funny if Eli Manning loses just on the basis that he'll be under 500 for his career. And I'm not sure if there's ever been a Hall of Fame quarterback with an under 500 record, which I think it would be great to just have him in there and be the only quarterback like that because it'll just be funny. Well, I'm getting a lot of abuse from Giant fans lately, and obviously so. The Jets have just been the Jets have been opening the door to just any kind of abuse.
Yeah, but the Giants are opening the door to just any kind of abuse. Have you seen what they put on the field?
Yeah, they've been pretty bad as well. I don't think there's really a comparison.
There's no reason for any Giant fan to say anything. There's none because Saquon Barkley has been nothing this year. Has been nothing. Nothing has changed. I think their offensive line has gotten better. And you've gotten a better quarterback, at least at this time. I thought he was supposed to be the best running back in the league.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Their defense is one of the worst.
Their defense is the worst, but it has nothing to do with Saquon Barkley.
I said in the beginning of the year to every Giant fan, can you name 3 players on your defense? A lot of them told me no. I'm pretty sure if we're, here we are at week 14, I would ask the same question. They could still tell me no. So it's their defense has just been abysmal. They don't guard anybody. There was a touchdown last week. Who did they play last week?
They played.
They lost. We know that. I forgot who they played, but there was a wide receiver at some point that was just so open that it was like almost nauseating. I don't understand how someone gets that wide open. Was it Green Bay?
Yes.
Yeah, they played Green Bay. Yeah, Lazard.
Yeah.
Was so open in the end zone. The guy had like 15 yards on any defender, which is crazy. You got to remember you got Aaron Rodgers, one of the best arms in football. You don't let anyone beat your defense, and it's just. Again, I think this falls on coaching. I don't think their coach is very, very good.
I don't think he's going to make it through this.
I don't think any of the New York coach is good besides those Islanders coach, baby. Got to give him a shout-out before we end this thing.
We're going to end with them. I'm going to go Giants plus 9.5. It's going to be an interesting week. Seattle, by the way, I didn't say, clinches the playoff berth with a win.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, we're gonna end with the New York Islanders, and I wanted to bring this up to you, okay? Because this has sparked some debate when it comes to Islander fans, this past week. So the Islanders have they posted on Twitter and Instagram that they were selling new hats, and most of the hats had the Fisherman logo on it. Now, I have my opinion on the Fisherman logo. What's yours? And then we'll discuss how we feel about it.
Honestly, when it comes to my opinion with that jersey, I feel like a lot of people have hatred for it because of how bad our record was with the jersey. I think if we would have been a Super Bowl contender wearing those jerseys, people would love them. So I really think it's almost like a tainted approach. Me personally, I'm not a fan of the colors. I do love the colors of the New York Islanders. I love the orange and blue. I love the little mix of black in there. I really do like what the Islanders have done with their colors of their jerseys.
I would teal, basically.
I would never want to go to that color ever. But again, I also feel like I'm tainted because I watched a god-awful team that year. And if I would have seen a really, really good team out there, it probably would have mixed up my opinion of the jersey.
Basically, everybody's argument is basically that the Islanders were so bad at that time that it brings up bad
memories. And that's why a lot of people probably don't like it.
So
whether they like to think that or not.
What happened from 94 to 2016?
That's such a long time.
I mean, what happened?
So
we've had the same logo from that time to that time, and we were pretty bad. I understand at that time we had Spano, we had Milbury. I understand that. But that has nothing to do with the logo. That just has to do with crappy organizational moves, basically. Milbury was an idiot.
It was almost like the start of that nonsense, and that was the jersey.
But you know what? Before the year before that, they were bad. They were in last place.
The year before that, they were in the playoffs. So
they were, yeah.
Yeah,
so
good team.
It just to me it doesn't make sense. I think that I love the Fisherman jersey.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think it's not a bad approach. I would never want it to be our permanent jersey. It could be almost like a third jersey.
Well, that's everybody just doesn't want that to make it to the ice.
Is that my water?
Yes, that is your water.
Wow, you could have told me that while we had an entire show going on.
Well, I know the last couple.
Thought
of
it was
times,
there for because you know how some of those things they put it there for looks.
We don't have a sponsor, so we can't really
Nestle, how are you?
But yeah, I know the last couple of times you've asked for water.
Mm-hmm.
So I put one out for you.
Good man.
Yeah. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I think it's an awesome logo. Obviously, it's not gonna make it to be our official logo. It's not gonna happen. That happened back then. It's not gonna happen now. But I would not be opposed to it being a third jersey, even though I love their alternate jersey right now.
Mm-hmm.
But why not embrace the logo? I mean, I bought 2 hats.
Yeah.
I bought 2 hats. I called up the pro shop. I bought the beanie with the Fisherman logo on it, and I bought a snapback with the Lighthouse logo, which I like the Lighthouse logo. I don't know why they don't just put it on their jersey anyway, because it has nothing to do with the teal or anything like that. So, I mean, they can throw it on a shoulder patch right now, because I actually really like that logo.
Yeah, it's not a bad logo. I feel like a lot of people are tainted because of how bad we were. And if we were a Super Bowl contender that year, a lot of people that probably don't like it.
You said that twice already.
What did I say?
You keep saying Super Bowl.
Did I keep saying Super Bowl? Sorry, we talked football for about 50 minutes of this show. We went right to hockey. But, yes, a Stanley Cup contender, I feel like it would have been a lot more of a different approach for a lot of different people. And it'd probably be leaned towards most people liking it.
If it wasn't for Milbury, I mean, we had a bunch of stars, so.
It's true.
But yeah, so to what we're seeing on the ice now, how about them Islanders? They hit a little skid when they went out west.
Yeah, they had an awful game against the Montreal Canadiens. I actually watched that game in full. It was one of the few games I've been able to watch in full, and then it honestly was able to allow me to actually look at it and be like, I don't understand how this team won so many games because they played that bad. It was actually a god-awful game.
That was probably the worst game that they played
by far.
this season.
By far. That wasn't even close, and they came back home against Vegas and they really played a great game against Vegas. Vegas, there's no doubt about it, is a very good team.
Except for the last goal that they gave up with like 5 minutes left in the game.
I felt like they had so many chances. They hit a lot of posts. They played a lot of offensive, forced a lot of turnovers. They limited their own turnovers. They played really good.
You know what? Like especially when it comes to overtime, Matt Barzal with the puck is just
unfair.
It's unreal. He held the puck for almost like a minute and a half at one point in that overtime.
And he draws penalties, and that's the thing about Matt Barzal that a lot of people don't.
Happening. He drew the penalty in overtime, and then
you should honestly, if you made a video of him just drawing penalties, I mean, it'd probably go viral. I mean, it's almost incredible how it's something underrated that a lot of players, a lot of the great players do this. They force turnovers. If they force penalties.
When we had John Tavares, we saw that kind of puck handling, all of that, the stick handling,
and he
everything.
could force penalties.
But
we couldn't score with him either, so on the power play.
The thing that we're seeing with Matt Barzal opposed to, John Tavares is Matt Barzal is so much faster than John Tavares was. So it to watch him be able to stick handle the way he is, and then just go in circles.
Well, they
especially in overtime when it's 3-on-3.
It's because he plays it with the New York Islanders, and it's quite funny to watch because there's no doubt about it. The kid is he's a difference maker, and he's literally like 5th on the list for most points in their first 100 games of their career. Obviously, you got guys like Crosby and Malkin and Ovechkin. These guys were freaks of nature from the second they came in to the league. But Barzal with 99 points in his first 100 games, he's ranked like 5th. And, that's more than Tavares. That's more than a lot of players that were very, very good. He's just one of the most underrated players, and I don't mind because, again, it's a big reason why we're winning. New York media doesn't care about the New York Islanders. No problem here because every team they care about clearly
sucks.
Is god-awful. I wouldn't even say sucks is the best word. They're awful. Yeah. There's not really a lot of good, talented teams, and the New York Rangers don't even get that much spotlighting. They're not even playing half bad themselves. They've been playing pretty good.
They started to play
They've been playing some really good hockey lately, and, I mean, no one hates the Rangers more than me, but they've been playing well. There's no denying it. And
I wouldn't mind an Islanders-Rangers.
Not in the first round, though. Hit me up later just because I don't want to even. I'm nervous for it because the Rangers play a dangerous style. They play a style that they're going to go out there. They're going to bring that extra D-man into the offensive zone. They're going to get goals, and they're going to force their ways to get goals. And obviously, it leads to a lot of odd man rushes. But Lundqvist has been unbelievable. He finds a way to make saves. He's been very good even at his age. And if the Rangers were smart, they'd probably add him for another 2 or 3 more years to his contract. He's that good.
Well, Thomas Greiss is playing very well this year again.
Well, every Islander goaltender plays great, and that's because our defense is just it really is that good.
That's the funny thing. Like when you look at it,
and people didn't see it coming, but I saw that Ryan Pulock is like 6'3", 6'4". Adam Pelech is 6'3", 6'4". Mayfield is 6'3", 6'4". These are very, very big human beings on the ice.
They're big and they're not slow.
No, they make great plays. They make quick decisions. I mean, having the lead, having the veteran leadership of someone like Boychuk and Letty, it's just a good mix.
Well, that's the thing. Like you look at that, and Letty and Boychuk probably aren't even the best defensemen that we have.
No, they
were.
Yeah.
When we first the fact that we were able to get Boychuk and Letty at the time that we got them was unbelievable. And
the way we got them.
Yeah.
We gave up nothing.
Basically. And we're thankful that they signed back, that they re-signed with us, especially.
And they're probably thankful for that too.
Absolutely.
We're playing really good hockey.
It was like they saw the writing on the wall. This team is young and it's getting better every year. And then you see what happened this year. They were the hottest team in hockey and
they could arguably still be considered one of the hottest teams
because absolutely.
We lose 1 or 2 games and we're right back to the winning ways. The Islanders have not had a 3-game losing streak, I don't think, all year, except maybe in the beginning of the season because I know they were 1-3 to start.
Yeah, that's probably.
I think they're 16-3-1 against the Eastern Conference, and they started the season 1-3. So in their last 16 games, they're 15-0-1, which is quite incredible against the Eastern Conference. Absolutely. I mean, obviously teams like the Kings and Anaheim, which are not even 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference, were able to find wins against the New York Islanders. But arguably the games that are most important are the ones against the Eastern Conference teams, and they're doing very well against them.
The thing is, like, Western Conference games are a different kind of beast because it's like you're going across the country.
And you're not used to the team you're playing. You don't know what to expect.
You're going across the country. I mean, football teams have issues with that, and they play once a week.
But it's the same thing it's the same thing with the NFL. Like you know what you're getting when you're a Jet player and you're going up against the Buffalo Bills and vice versa. And the same thing with the Islanders. The Islanders know what they're getting when they play the Pittsburgh Penguins, when they play the Washington Capitals. But when you're playing the Kings, which you're going to see maybe once or twice throughout the entire season, it's not a team you're putting the study. You know, you're not studying on their style and what they're trying to do. You know, you're not going over the top with that one. So
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that'll do it. Islanders are playing well. Lakers are playing well. How about that?
Yeah, I don't even pay attention to the NBA, to be honest.
Thank God.
I'm a Celtic fan. I haven't really been paying attention.
And I'm feeling 75% confident right
Why?
now that Garrett Cole will be in pinstripes next year. So
actually, I have been paying attention with the NBA. I'm not even gonna lie. That was me just sitting. I'm like, I know damn well that the Celtics have been very, very good, and they continue to play good. They played a tough Nuggets team last night. They beat them no problem. And I saw that they played a tough game, the Lakers, against Portland at home. And Portland, we all know, is a very good team at home, and it looked like the Lakers had no problem.
Yeah,
Anthony Davis is
he had 39 last
night. Dominant. I watched a little bit of the game. He's really very, very dominant. He's that good. I watched him dribble the ball down the court. He's like putting it behind his back, firing a three. I'm like, you're 7 feet tall, bro.
The 4-point play too in the corner.
I did see, and they all went nuts on him.
Yeah.
I saw. Actually, that was part of the time I was watching.
Yeah.
They're very good.
But
and
yeah,
LeBron and Anthony Davis is just really like it's quite unfair.
Thank God I have the Islanders. Thank God I have the Lakers right now because the Cowboys are really making me depressed. And yeah, as I said, I'm about 75% confident now that Garrett Cole will be a Yankee. After the season ended, I was at about 20% just because, you know, that 20% was basically me wanting him and just, you know, having that Yankees ways.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Yankees are going to go back to their ways.
Mm-hmm.
They basically, from what I heard, they're giving Garrett Cole a blank check. You sign for whatever you want to sign. And
baseball's turned into a disgrace.
The number
I'm sorry, it's really turned into a disgrace.
The number that I'm hearing is 5 to 6 years for $250 million.
That's ridiculous. Hey, can we get off the air? Because honestly, if I react to that truthfully, it's just going to be quite obnoxious. Because baseball's turned into an absolute disgrace of a sport. It's crazy. I've never thought I would think that, but it's really just going.
I mean, look at football though. Football's the same way.
Yeah, no, it's almost turning into the same thing. You're right.
And especially that football's moving into guaranteed contracts now. I mean, they should have all along.
The cap needs to go into baseball, or else I mean, come on, dude. You're just not seeing it from another perspective. Imagine being an Oakland Athletic fan.
I don't really care.
I know, that's the sickest thing. I know. It's understandable. I mean, I wouldn't really care either. You're absolutely right. I've never heard a better response in my life, but you know, it's just really an unfair sport, and if the Yankees don't win, it's embarrassing. That's the thing.
Yeah, well,
it is.
I mean,
can you argue that?
This is the first decade since like 1920.
Yeah, and they've had like
that.
How much has their salary been? How much has their salary been that entire time?
Absolutely. But I mean, is that our fault? Is that like the Yankees' fault? They're a big brand.
I'm not saying it's the Yankees' fault, but I'm saying as a Yankee fan, you're not even the slightest of embarrassed.
Not at all.
That's incredible.
Not at all.
That's the last statement I'm making for the rest of the day, folks. This is on him for the rest of the show.
Embarrassed that we haven't won anything in 10 years, or embarrassed that our team likes to spend money? Because the Mets are getting bought out by a billionaire who the guy Steve Cohen, when he buys the Mets, he will be the richest owner in baseball.
I said I don't care. I don't care about baseball.
Well, that will do it then. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy.
Be breezy. And it is all over.
You've been listening to Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio. For more Running Up the Score, go follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at RUTS Sports.